Welcome to the Three Guys On podcast. My name is Michael Kelly.
My name is Alex Drabeck.
And my name's Russell Gromback.
And today we will be ranking the top 10 greatest WWE/WWF wrestlers of all time. This article is by Kerry Miller from Bleacher Report. And at number 10, we are going to start with Mick Foley. Mick Foley is
Crazy.
Yeah, all-time great. Dude's been thrown off Hell in a Cell. Dude's been put through tables, barbed wire, tacks, anything you can basically get your hands on. He's been put through it. He's lost an ear. He's went through several surgeries. He's broken so many bodies. People have said that they think he's died. Like they thought that he was dead at least 5 times in the ring in his career. So, yeah, he's been through a lot. I don't know if he's 10, but he should be mentioned.
Definitely, yeah. Like he's the definition of putting your body on the line.
Hardcore.
And that's the whole reason why we had the hardcore title because of him. And if you want to mention like what it means to put your body on the line, Mick Foley is definitely the definition of that, of like what it shows, like how hard it is.
Yeah, I really love his rivalry when he first came to WWE, when he was still Mankind, and he was facing off against The Undertaker, and Paul Bearer turned against him, and then they had I forget the match type it was. They were in it was a boiler room match. Have you guys ever seen that?
I think I've seen, it's been a while, but I think I've seen that, and, like, to me, it was, like, a very interesting, like...
They started off in a boiler room, and then they had to work their way back to the ring. And that was kind of... And, like, the first person who got the urn won. But I also think they had the first Buried Alive match, too. It was also really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Very interesting character, you know, and just some of the gimmicks he went through: Cactus Jack, Mankind, Dude Love, and just himself, Mick Foley. So,
just to mention also, like, he is also the first person to come to the Royal Rumble with all 3 personas. Like after he gets eliminated,
yep,
couple more entries, and then all of a sudden Mankind or Dude Love comes out. Which was like very interesting, and which I was watching the moments, and like I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I agree. Here with number 9, we have Roddy Piper. He is definitely an all-time great, a legend of the business, a sort of a tough guy, tough guy gimmick. He came out with the bagpipe music. He was always ready to fight, and I think the crowd loved him and just loved his persona, and he definitely can make an argument that he deserves to be on this list. He is an all-time great WWE wrestler.
Yeah, and also he was, I think, at the time, he was a great heel.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously not probably like greatest of all time kind of heel, but still like a great heel.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen a couple matches with Piper, and I think listening to him on the microphone was probably even more entertaining. Like Piper's Pit, like he was very famous for Piper's Pit, which was like an interview type session.
It was one of the first like interview shows on live television.
On WWE.
Yeah, on WWE, yeah.
And it usually ended with him getting into a fight with somebody, which was pretty funny to watch and entertaining.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to move on here to number 8. We have Macho Man Randy Savage. And dude was a savage. Back then, he got in a lot of feuds with The Ultimate Warrior and Hulk Hogan, just to name a few. His, on the mic skills were legendary. His feuds and that elbow from the top rope was just iconic. He's an iconic wrestler in the business, and I would say he deserves to be on this list.
Definitely, yeah. Well, even yeah, like you said, like his rivalries and everything was like iconic. Like especially with Hulk Hogan, like how them having a rivalry and then teaming and then having a rivalry again after that.
Wasn't it over like Miss
Yeah.
Elizabeth? Or
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which I don't. Is he in the Hall of Fame yet? Or
Yeah, I think
yeah.
he was put in the Hall of Fame like back in like 2017, I think.
yeah,
So I could be wrong though. It could have been a couple years before that.
but yeah, he is definitely like one of the greats, and like I think like that's that like I get it, like now we're like finishers all that, but like that was like the great time about back then, like when they put their finisher down, then you knew like the match was over. Like I get the anticipation of like some matches, but then like after a while of doing like finisher after finisher and like still kicking out, it kind of beats the purpose in a way.
I agree.
That's just my opinion.
Okay, and we're gonna go to number 7, John Cena. In my opinion, John Cena should be a little bit higher. What he's done for the business. When all those guys left The Rock, Stone Cold, Brock Lesnar, he stepped up. And not even just in the ring, on the mic, with all his Make-A-Wishes for those kids, just everything he's done for the business. And, he's a 16-time champion, this and that. Everything he's done for the WWE is out of love, and I think he should be higher. I just think in my opinion, he's the best ever, but I can understand people holding him out of the top 5, and that's fine. But I think he should be a little bit higher, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like he should be like 5 or 4 maybe. Definitely, and also yeah, he's like the highest. He has the highest Make-A-Wish granted, and
Wasn't it like 350 or something?
No, it's a lot higher than that.
Really?
it's like 640.
Wow. That's insane.
But yeah, like he has so many Make-A-Wish grants. Even this past weekend at WrestleMania on Saturday, he came out and with Make-A-Wish kids and like gave them all a wish granted of going to WrestleMania, and that was just amazing. Like
Yeah.
he is definitely like awesome. Like you may not like his like you may like wish he turned heel. In a way, I feel like he did turn heel, like with that Thuganomics character. Like at points, it was like he was a kind of heel, but at the same time, he was like face. It was
Most
like
people were upset because during that 15, 20-year run where he was the guy, that they didn't turn him heel.
yeah,
That's what people had a problem with, and I think
I
was
think
kinda
it.
hard.
I think it. Because kids love Cena, and when you have a figure who kids adore, it's kind of hard to make someone like that a bad guy.
Well, he's got one half of the crowd booing him, the other half cheering him. You turn him heel, they're all gonna start cheering.
well
And
at
it's
the
gonna throw everything off, and just with his persona, like the Make-A-Wish, all this stuff, it's pretty hard to turn him heel, to be honest.
well, I feel like even if they did turn him heel at the time, there'd still be people booing him. Like all the kids would be booing him then, or like
Yeah.
either way, there's still gonna be a mixed reaction,
That's
no
that's what
no
I'm
matter
saying.
what.
Yeah.
That's why it's so hard to make a person heel at a time, because either way, someone's gonna love them being a heel and hate them being a face, or they're gonna love them being a face and hate them being a heel. It's like there's no right or wrong to it, honestly.
Okay. At number 6 is The Undertaker, and he is legendary.
I'm sorry, I feel like this should be way higher in the
Yeah.
list. This should be like 3 or 2, or even honestly 1 in my opinion, because like how well he's like, even though he didn't break kayfabe, it kept his character intact. It kept his character serious and that like funny moments, all that. Even come out with like the badass Undertaker.
Before we continue though, for anybody who doesn't know what kayfabe is basically that means not breaking that persona that person carries. So like the Undertaker, he was considered the dead man, so he had to act like that, and he didn't want anybody to
For
see
like
him.
30 years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for 30 years, which is crazy.
Never broke character.
Yeah, and
Public.
there were so many other characters just like his that had died off, but because of his character and what was behind it, I think people resonated with that, which it just lasted for decades.
Yeah, I feel like like that's why I'm saying like him being able to do that and keep his character intact is just amazing.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, to be able to keep his character for 30 years, go on that WrestleMania streak, win those 7 world championships, and keep everything intact is just amazing.
And let's just, talk about the fact that 30 years, like, what other wrestler had been wrestling for that long? That's crazy.
It's the greatest character in the history of wrestling, and nobody can doubt it. He doesn't have to be number one. He doesn't have to be the best promo guy. He don't have to be the best wrestler. But it's the greatest character ever played in wrestling history, and nobody can take that away from him. Nobody. Okay, so we're going to get into the next one. At 5, we have, Ric Flair. I think he should be higher. What he's done for the business, the promos, he was the first guy to walk around, and wear expensive watches and chains and, have swag and flair, and the way he was in the ring, I just think he should be higher. He was one of those guys that brought that exclusive style to the business, and I think he should be higher than 5, more like 4 or 3 to me. Some people think he's number 1 for what he's done, and the dude wrestled pretty much into his 60s. If you think about it, he wrestled into his 60s.
Yeah, it's funny. He had his retirement match with Shawn Michaels, but then he decided to wrestle again after that. He went to TNA, I think, and
Yep.
but then he's like, no, that wasn't for me. I made a mistake there. But like overall, his career was incredible. Like he's a 16-time world champion, right?
Yep. Him and John Cena are tied for 16 championships. Yep.
Yeah,
World
Crazy.
championships. My bad.
yeah, and he actually had because I was at the event. Well, I didn't watch the match, but I was at the event where his hopefully very last match takes place. But yeah, he Nashville, Tennessee, he had his like very last match. This was like last year now, because I went to Nashville, Tennessee for a signing, and with my family friends, and yeah, and it's just crazy how like wrestled and stuff, and even like last year, even though I didn't like go see the event, I still thought it was like crazy him wrestling and like how old he is, the condition he is.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like he's still somewhat healthy, but not as healthy as he used to be.
No, he's had a couple of scares lately,
And
health-wise.
even like he's honestly the opposite of Undertaker, because like his like the way he lived back in WWF, WWE era, that's how he was. That's like that was his. He wasn't playing a character. That was just how he was.
Exactly. Okay. At number 4, we have We have Hulk Hogan. At number 4, legendary all-time wrestler. In my opinion, and I hate saying this, I don't get all the hype with Hulk Hogan. I go back and I watch his matches. I watch his
He was better on the microphone than he was a performer.
easily. And I didn't grow up and watch Hulk Hogan, so I don't know, but his wrestling is kind of flat in a way. I'm not going to downgrade him because I do think Hulk Hogan easily is on this list. I don't know if it's 4, but he is easily on this list, and he's an all-time great, and I'm not going to take that away from him. So that's just my opinion.
See, I'm gonna have to disagree with that because I although I do agree with the fact that his performing wasn't as good as some of the other people on this list, but I grew up with Hulk Hogan, not like watching him on TV per se, but I've seen a lot of his matches because of my uncles and just the people I grew up around. So yeah, I would say, I don't know. It's hard to say because I agree with the number that he's at on this list, but it's also I could see him a little bit lower. But it's like a love hate situation for me.
For me, like I didn't grow up, but I had the free disc set of like his matches and like his build between Macho Man. And like I say like he is great on the mic, but like I feel like the match, like he was great this all time. I feel like in that era, I don't know if all time, because like the reason why I say of all time in his era is because back then match types were slow paced anyway. Like even Undertaker starting out, like the match types were like slow paced. So I get that, but saying he's greatest of all time, thinking of like if he was in the condition he was now, like saying like if he was just starting out now, I feel like he wouldn't be greatest of all time because like how fast paced these matches are starting to get. Like people are doing jumping over of the ropes, between the ropes, off the like they're jumping off the top rope even more than what they were back then. So like
what I'm saying is,
I feel like he would be, he is in like maybe the top 10, but I don't know, 4 maybe.
Yeah.
It's like it's
Well,
so hard.
You gotta look at it like what did he do for the business? Because
Yes,
it was
I
him
agree.
and Vince. If it wasn't for Hulkamania and WrestleMania combined, wrestling would be a cliche thing that a bunch of hillbillies would be watching today, but like they made it mainstream.
No, his performance on the mic and his ability to get the crowd going was the reason why this business is thriving,
Yeah.
and he deserves recognition for that. I'm saying in the other aspect of in-ring performer, he should, like, if this list was in-ring performance, he wouldn't make the list. Because when he came back in the 2000s and faced guys like Brock and The Rock, and the matches were very sub, but just his ability to make the crowd get loud and
Get behind him.
get behind him in these matches is what helped him. So, we're gonna go to number 3 here. We have Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Do you smell what The Rock is cooking? Legend. Hollywood, big movie star. In the business, he's good in the ring and he's good on the mic. He's maybe one of the greatest characters. He's up there with Undertaker. He's not the greatest, but he's the character. The way he refers to himself, the way that he gets the crowd going. Even when he was a heel, he was a good heel. As a babyface, he's great. He's good in every aspect of wrestling, and that helped him become a big movie star, I believe. Just his character and the way he carries himself. So, The Rock, I think, is in the right spot. You could decide where you want him, but I can't really argue with The Rock being 3, 4, 5. I can't argue with it.
Yeah, I honestly have to agree with you. I feel like it's properly rated as well. And honestly, I know like he's had so many rivalries over the years, but honestly, I feel like the John Cena versus Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson rivalry is like one of the best ever rivalries he's had. Like him coming back to the ring, that's what kind of like brought him back as well. Is like that made him even more bigger. Him coming back and then having that rivalry, it was like there was so much good storytelling there, and even like at the time of that rivalry, they did not honestly like each other at all until after that rivalry. They started respecting each other after that, and that's why I feel like he's like properly rated. Like
Are you talking about the rivalry with John Cena?
Yeah.
I love how that first match that they had at WrestleMania 28. They call it a once in a lifetime match, but then a year later they had the rematch. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah, I remember watching that match too, and it was like amazing to look at because like it felt like the 28 one felt like how like Endgame felt now, like the superhero didn't win. You know what I mean? Because like John Cena was like it felt like Rock was in between of like being a heel and face in that like rivalry because like obviously John Cena at that time is still being a face and like all that.
I don't know if you guys know, but there was a lot of controversy after that match. So, like, I guess The Rock, during that match, could barely move his leg. I
Oh.
guess he hurt his leg, and he was trying to get around the ring, and John Cena basically, that's
Had
why
to carry him.
most of the match, John Cena was winning the match because The Rock couldn't really move around, and the crowd was juicing the match up, period. But the next night, remember Brock Lesnar came out and, F5 John Cena. From there, John Cena's life actually got worse. Like, his wife divorced him, this and that, and his life went on a downward spiral, and he had to, keep going and keep going. But there was a lot of, and then they didn't like each other either during that time. Until like after the next WrestleMania, they started getting after the show. They started talking and they kind of became cool with each other. But that match brought a lot of intensity and hate out. I think just after that feud, they're just in a much better place, and it's good for the business.
For sure.
Okay, number 2, we have the Showstopper, Shawn Michaels, maybe the best in-ring performer of all time, Mr. WrestleMania. His Sweet Chin Music is one of the most iconic moves in the history of the business. He has iconic matches, the ladder matches, the WrestleMania moments, the D-Generation X. This business would not be where it would be without Shawn Michaels. He is one of the best performers, and now he's an instructor at NXT. He's training the next generation of superstars. So that right there, you gotta applaud him for.
Well, even I think now he even controls NXT. Like first it was Triple H, but then Triple H went to head of creative. So then next Shawn Michaels took over NXT, which I kind of find funny in a way because they're like with him and Triple H, the whole thing of G Generation X taking over the business. In a way, they kind of like it kind of felt like long term storytelling. They have took over the business in some sort of way. But yeah, like Shawn Michaels, even today, like the super kick is used, but yeah, Shawn Michaels is like one of the greatest, and I feel like this honestly is another one that is properly rated. Like his music, like as soon as you hear that music, you hear like the crowd just pop so loud.
Yeah, I agree. Shawn is just one of the best performers of all time and just iconic, and nobody can doubt it. Okay, so we're going to go to our honorable mentions. And we have our first honorable mention is Chris Jericho, all-time great ring performer on the mic, and he is great. We have Bret Hitman Hart. I think he could be on this list.
The best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be.
Yes. We have Andre the Giant. We have Chyna. We have Dusty Rhodes. I'm on with that one. Dusty was great. Triple H. Oh, man.
Very controversial.
I feel like he should have bound.
How is Mick Foley over Triple H, guys?
Yeah.
Kurt Angle.
I could see him on there, yeah.
Randy Orton.
Yeah.
The Ultimate Warrior.
No. Not in my opinion.
Vince McMahon.
Vinnie Mac himself.
This is a very weird list.
I know. It's very odd, but those are our honorable mentions. And with number 1, our final and greatest superstar ever is Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Okay.
You got a beer?
What?
What?
Okay. So when, I remember watching his matches on the WWE Network or on YouTube, and when you hear that glass shatter,
Oh, that's the best.
you just want to go stun somebody. It don't matter who it is. And the way that he brought the crowd, I mean, every night, dude, they were packing arenas. It didn't matter where they were at. They could have been in Albuquerque. They could have been in...
Shoot, Japan, anywhere.
It doesn't matter where they could have been on the planet. They're selling that stadium out because they want to go see Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And the merchandise and that attitude and just everything that he brought to the business, from in-ring performance to on the mic, he was the biggest draw in the history. You think Hulk Hogan was a big draw, but I don't know if he was as big of a draw as Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yeah, because I feel like
He is the biggest draw of all time, and he should be in the discussion for the greatest.
especially because I feel like I feel like it's like weird to think about, like if it wasn't for his rivalry, because I know he's had so many great rivalries like Rock and everything. Would he be as big in his name if he had that rivalry with Vince McMahon? Because that rivalry was so intense, but at the same time entertaining. Even Booker T, like them going into a supermarket and like
Yep.
fighting in the supermarket, that was iconic. Like what Stone Cold did, as entertaining wise and as intense wise, like he was awesome. And like it was kind of like a last hope too for Stone Cold, because he had so many other gimmicks, but they weren't working out as well because I saw like his podcast, he was losing his hair, so he had to figure out what to do. So he shaved it all off and then got this new character, and it's really worked for him for many, like even decades now. It's been working for him.
Yeah, it's still working to this day. He's got podcasts, he's got TV shows, he's got
Broken Skull Challenge.
he's got all this stuff. He's selling IPAs, making money off of that. Just that it's still that reputation and that character still is helping him today.
He's been in movies.
Yep.
Many movies.
All right, so that is our list of the top 10 WWE wrestlers by Bleacher Report. And we will see you guys next time. My name is Michael Kelly.
My name is Alex Drabeck.
And I'm Russell Grombeck.
See you guys later.